Alright boys, what are we working on today?
We are working on a giant slip and slide down this hill.
Yeah.
Are you pretty pumped about it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I'm going from here to Super Valley Slide.
All the way down, huh?
One jump.
Alright.
My goal is to make it at the very end of the giant slip and slide.
Alright, and have we ever done this before?
No, but we've put two small slip and slides together.
Yeah, we're going all the way now. So what we're going to do here is we're going to try something. We're not sure about how the water supply is going to work. We've never done it before, but we're going to try it out and see how it works, and then we might have to add some more videos based on what our findings are, right?
Right.
Alright, so what materials are we using, boys?
We're using a drill, a hammer, two stakes, and
1 3/8.
Yep.
3/8
Drill bit.
drill bit.
That's right. So the only thing we had to buy for this, we had some stuff sitting around, would be the 6 mil plastic. We got 10 foot by 100 foot. We're using the clear stuff. They've got black also, and if you want to spend a lot of money, you can go buy some of the agricultural plastic for covering hay and stuff like that, but you're spending at least a couple $100 on some of those tarps. So the clear, some people say, kills the grass because the sun has kind of a greenhouse effect through the plastic, but we're going to see. We thought it would be better than black anyway. And the 2x4 we've got here is a 10 footer. Preferably 12 footer would be better, but I didn't have any of those sitting around, so we're starting with a 10 footer and we'll move on from there. Because you can save the plastic and kind of keep the stakes from encroaching on the play zone that way by using a longer board. You can just put them on the end. But we're going to try this, and we'll have a clear conversation with the boys about where we slide and where we don't, and I'll have to put some covers over the stakes to mitigate any lacerations. I'm sure we'll be getting some bruises and other injuries from this, but we don't want to end up at the emergency room. So that's our materials list. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to open that box, and we're going to line out the plastic, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now what we've got is we've got the slip and slide pretty much laid out in the direction that we want. Not perfectly flat, but close enough. And we're at a point where we're ready to get it staked down. Now we don't have it staked down on the sides or anything. All the tension is going to be pulling it down the hill. However, if we had a bunch of wind, we might have to look at some side staking, which would probably most likely be, we could use some foam, noodles or something like that, and stake through that, or anyway, we'll deal with that if we come across that challenge. Right now it's not windy, so we don't have any major problems. Another little tidbit I'd give you is we've got a dog. If you have a dog, you might consider tying them up for this exercise, because they will puncture holes through the plastic. That's pretty obvious, but just thought I would note that. Now what we're going to do is, Jackson, why don't you grab that 2x4 and slide it on over here on top of the plastic. Now it's really important when you put it on top of this plastic and you start this next step in the process that you have the 2x4 perfectly perpendicular to what you want your route of travel to be. So right now the absolute straightness of the plastic isn't that significant. However, this first 5 feet is very significant, because if we don't face it the right direction, we're going to have wrinkles in our plastic, and we might end up sliding off the plastic because we're going to be going the wrong direction. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to pause it for a minute, but we're going to roll the plastic up really tight inside this 2x4, real straight, and then what we'll do is drill holes through the 2x4 and stake it in place. So I'm going to pause it, and we'll get moving on to that next step. Alright, so now what we've done is we've wrapped the 2x4 in the plastic, and it's only held on by friction actually, but that'll be plenty. That's my prediction anyway. I'm pretty certain of it. It seems to be holding quite strong. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to step on this 2x4, and the ends that stick out, I just drilled a 3/8 inch hole down through the board there. And then what are we going to do next, Jack?
We are gonna put the stakes in, and we're gonna use this hammer to hammer them in.
That's right. And so the hole size isn't that significant, but I wouldn't want to make the hole too much bigger than the size of the actual stakes. These aren't the best stakes in the world, but they're just what I had here. You know, if I was probably going to the store to buy supplies, I'd get some big, I don't know, concrete stakes or something that's probably a little stronger than this, but I think these will suffice just fine. They're not going to have that much tension on them. So, and then the other thing I recommend is standing on the 2x4 while you drive these down, just to make sure that you get them nice and snug to the ground, because that's going to give you that much more holding power. So we're going to get started on that. Go ahead, Jack. Okay, so we got the stakes in. Another recommendation would be to, when you put the stakes in, face them the opposite direction, on the off chance that someone, you know, goes way off course and happens to kick across that. It's going in a direction where, you know, you might get a bruise or something, but it's not going to cut you. So face the stakes in the downhill direction. I'm sure there's safer ways of doing this, but I feel pretty confident, being that we have a 10-foot slide area and these are on the absolute exterior. I don't see a very high chance of anybody tripping over that while running and jumping. So now what we're going to do is we're going to experiment with the water distribution. I've got a couple of plans I'm going to try. First thing we're going to try, just because we're impatient, is going to be just putting a sprinkler on the front portion of the slide and going down from there. We might put a couple of sprinklers in series. We'll see what happens there. I could turn the lawn sprinklers on, but that's kind of a waste. The other backup plan would be to get a long section of PVC pipe glued together with a series of holes, maybe up on some posts, or maybe just laying on the ground would probably be the safest. And then you'd have to, of course, put smaller holes down on the bottom and larger holes up on the top, just to make sure the water is distributed evenly. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so we've got a couple of sprinklers hooked up. I think this is going to be more than sufficient to keep the whole thing wet. And we're getting ready for the inaugural run. Alright, Jordan's going to try it out first. Get a run and start and go, buddy.
Go on your tummy.
He needs some work on getting some velocity.
He doesn't know how. He thinks you run and you just squirt down and get on your belly.
Okay. Alright, Jordan. Let's let Jackson try it now. Go ahead, Jack. Give it a try.
Jordan, watch
Now
out.
remember, there's that 2x4 there, so be careful not to trip on that.
I want to do it again. I want to do that again. I want to do that again.
How's it working?
Where's I can go?
I think you can go further if you get a good running start.